that all goes back to what are your goals for retirement.
That's
you
true.
know, like, is your goal to have another stream of income, or is your goal just to create
more
wealth,
money? Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
is your goal to let it grow and to leave it to your beneficiaries? It really just depends. Or is it to use it as a long-term care? Okay. Welcome back to the Dear Retirement Podcast.
Yes, it's we got busy last week, but we're gonna do better and make sure that we're on track to do one a week. What's the topic today, Lauren?
Today we're going to talk a little bit about retirement planning, financial planning. That is something that we do, and we don't talk about it enough. There's a lot of great questions that people have had out there, and we have helped people in situations that were not great for them get into better situations. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're not going to keep it super long today. We're going to make it about 15 minutes, but really informative and important. So
one of the things that we talk about when we sit down with the client, there's a couple of things. I think early on in my career, I focused on products when I was talking to people about retirement. But over time, with wisdom, we've learned that it's really about putting together a plan. It's also about putting together a detailed plan and explaining to them what their retirement not only looks like now, but what we can do for the different stages in their life. One of the things that we always talk to when we're talking to couples, we let them know that Social Security is basically a pension. So at the time of one of the couples passing, they're going to lose a big portion of their pension. And that's something that they generally don't think about, or at least I didn't discuss with a lot of my clients as much as I should have early on. So what do you have in place to cover that? You know, that pension is very important as you become older and you rely on that. And if you made decent money in life, or no matter what money you made, it's all relative, but losing a loved one is painful enough, but you're also losing the Social Security that's attached to them that you were counting on to live throughout your retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you get accustomed to a certain level of comfort, you know, a certain lifestyle, and then all of a sudden that is taken away and you're having to adjust, you know, that's the last thing that you want to be doing in that moment. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important to plan for these things ahead of time. You know, a lot of the stuff that we deal with, you know, we're having to talk about things that aren't always comfortable conversations, you know, as far as what is going to happen in the event that this person dies or when this person dies, because that is inevitable. We all got to go sometime, but it's putting the plans in place now so that when that time comes, it's less painful, because that part, the financial part of it's all figured out. Does that make sense?
That's true. And a vehicle that we use to help people fill in the holes, or to fill that portion, is a fixed indexed annuity. And I know there's a lot of people that, especially if they don't sell annuities or they don't have access to all the annuities, because we're brokers, that they do, they try to say, oh, I hate annuities. But really, annuities are not anything to fear. It's all about the contract. Mm-hmm. And there's a portion of a lot of fixed index annuities that come with what's called a lifetime income rider. And that's where you can put your money into a bucket that grows with compound interest. We've seen compound interest rates where they'll guarantee you 8% and even higher on an annual basis. And when that money hits a certain plateau, you can push a button and then you get paid like a pension for the rest of your life, even if you outlive what the actuaries assumed that you were going to live to. So, and then when you do a joint lifetime income rider, it's the last person breathing. So that can also be a way to take advantage of being married, you know.
Yeah, and I think you said something earlier about people fear that, and it's because they don't know. Like, people are afraid of the things that they don't know.
Sure. Like
and
the boogeyman.
Exactly. He could be your friend. But if you don't know what it really is, and you've only heard it in like loose terms, or, you know, just in a quick conversation, and you don't fully understand it, of course it's going to be like this thing that might be a little intimidating or a little scary, because you don't know. But that's so much of what we do is the education process. You know, we educate first, because like this whole turning 65 and retiring, there's a lot of question marks and a lot of unknown, and that's where we come in and try to make sure that we are educating people just on all circles, like on all sides, so that it's a well-rounded approach. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do, and I think there's a lot of interest in guarantees right
Especially
now.
right now.
Yeah. The market's so volatile right now. It just feels like every time I turn on the news, there's another crypto or some company that's crashing, and there's a couple things.
That's scary.
Yeah, I learned this. I learned some of these from my mentors. A couple things, with these type of products. So one of the reasons that we like it, these types of programs so much, is because there's no guesswork. I know that I never have to duck my client if I see him in the grocery store, because first of all, no one's ever writing a check to Dear Retirement. They are writing the check with or they are transferring, or the money goes directly to that company. I have a lot of clients that feel more comfortable sending it to that company directly, and we just handle the contracts. Totally fine. And we get a referral fee from the company. A lot of times when we do seminars, they ask us, how do we get paid? We get a referral fee by helping put you in the right plan and designing it and making sure that we pick the right options, the right allocations. But I always like to present the product like I would like someone to present it to me. And I just make sure that people know that our integrity is intact and that there's no time that any money comes to Dear Retirement.
Yeah, we don't take any money. There are people that we have that we're working with now that are in products where they're paying either a monthly or quarterly to an individual who is managing their money, but they're losing a lot of money but they're still responsible for paying this person a quarterly fee. We don't do that. We don't charge a quarterly, monthly, annual fee, nothing like that at all. We don't want to take your money. We want to see it grow.
Or a consultation fee.
No consultation fee, none of that.
So you can talk to us for free.
We also don't want people to be afraid to open their mail. We've had that before where someone has lost so much money that they didn't even want to look at it and see. But if you're not looking at it, it's impossible to put a plan together because you don't know what you have. So yeah, that was heartbreaking in that situation because she had avoided that mail for months and months. And so when we finally sat down, finally opened up everything and looked at it, it was a considerable loss. It was a lot, and she wasn't prepared for that, but she had been avoiding it, so we were able to help her and get her in something that's going to give her some guarantees, and she's not going to be afraid to open her mail anymore, and she's not going to have that sense of dread. She's going to feel more secure.
Yeah, and I think that the segue into another portion of that topic is when you're a senior and you've already worked your whole life, you've built up a nest egg. These aren't products where you need to put everything into it. Matter of fact, they won't allow it. But a portion of it, we like to call it a bucket approach, but a portion of it should go into something that's going to give you some guarantees. You should be able to, if you have done your work and you set aside some money, we want our clients to be able to sleep good, knowing that they don't need to look at the stocks or everything every single day. Now, they do get an accumulation of interest at the end of the year a lot of times. Sometimes there's some products that will accumulate or show interest to your account monthly, but it's not something, your money's not in the stock market. It's put into, you get to pick the allocation strategy, and you are accredited, your account is credited based on how the allocation strategy that you picked. That's how you get accredited, but your money's not in the market. So if the thing about a fixed index annuity is if the market goes down, your money stays steady. Now, if the market goes up, you get to take advantage of those gains. There's certain times where you might have to give up a spread, and that means if the market goes up to 13, you might end up with 11 points, but that's still amazing.
And that all really does depend on the particular product and, like Ernest said, the allocation strategy. So it's impossible to sit here and say, this is exactly what's going to happen when there are countless numbers of plans and options to put you in. But that all goes back to what are your goals for retirement.
That's
you
true.
know, is your goal to have another stream of income, or is your goal just to create
more
wealth,
money? Yeah.
Right? Or is your goal to let it grow and to leave it to your beneficiaries? It really just depends. Or is it to use it as a long-term care? So there are a number of different needs that people have, and just as many plans and options for people to fit those needs. But there's always an answer. There's always something that's going to make it, much more enjoyable retirement, less stressful. That's the key. That's what we do.
And depending on how your annuity is structured, things can change. There's some customizable options that you can do on the fly. So you could start off with one pattern, then we have a client that something happens, they need to sit down and they might need a lump sum. They might not be interested in the lifetime income rider. There's always options. So, and once again, it's your money. It's like bank access. You log in, you have your own separate account. We're mainly there to be another person that has your back along with that, outside of that company, because we represent our clients. We don't represent the company. Our clients come first.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, I mean, if because this is a shorter one, I think we're going to wrap it up here. But if you would like more information on any of these ideas and products that we talked about, if you want to sit down with us, you can always find us at give us a call at 1-800-615-1440, and we're on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What else am I forgetting? Twitter. Maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if we're on Twitter, but Google my business.
Just search at Dear Retirement, and it's DEAR Retirement, and our website's dearretirement.com.
Yeah, and once again, a consultation is free. So, one of the things I say, we just did a video, what do I always say? Well, one of the things I always say is, there's one thing, is it doesn't hurt to compare. And I always tell my clients, well, what should I do? Well, let's let math make the choice. And that's a good way to live when you look at the numbers, because it's all about the contract.
Yeah, best idea wins.
That's right.